A last goodbye telephone call. My dear child, if you believe in angels, start this video and watch it completely. Angel says there's a silence inside you that even the loudest days cannot touch. It has been growing, whispering, waiting. And now, something within you stirs, because the moment has arrived. The moment that was never supposed to come. A final whisper, a last goodbye, a telephone call that heaven has been dialing into your soul for what feels like a lifetime. Answer it. Don't ignore it this time. Don't pretend you can't hear it. Because the angels are watching. The final words are being spoken. And everything you thought you knew is about to collapse under the weight of the truth that heaven has been holding back until now. This message is not ordinary. You're not reading it for entertainment. You're reading it because a divine alert was sounded in your spirit, and something holy responded. You heard something that isn't from this earth. And now it's calling you deeper. There's no time left for delay. This is the moment. This is the last goodbye before what you thought was hidden is finally revealed. This is your call. Your final call. Before the exposure breaks wide open. You felt it, didn't you? That stirring in your chest. That trembling in your soul. Like something was trying to speak through the stillness. That's not imagination. That's not coincidence. That's the sound of heaven moving. That's the voice of the divine clearing the space between what you see and what has always been behind the curtain. You've been walking around like a person in a fog. You've trusted the wrong voices. You've believed in people who said they were sent by God, but they were sent by something else entirely. And one of them, yes, one of them is a woman. She's been moving silently in the background of your life. She has shaped perceptions about you without ever standing in front of you. She made phone calls about you. Conversations were had about you that you were never invited to. But now God says, I heard every word. I saw every call. And the call that's coming next is not from her. It's from me. This is not a metaphor. This is not poetry. This is divine communication. A spiritual telephone call. A final goodbye from the version of your life that almost kept you bound forever. And the phone is ringing because the time of hiding has ended. Finally, God is exposing this woman. The one who prayed against you with words wrapped in scripture. The one who smiled in public but gossiped in shadows. The one who pretended to care, but her heart was never aligned with yours. And you need to know, this is not just about one person. This is about the spirit that used her. The manipulation that hid behind her smile. The delay that came through her presence. And the sabotage that walked into your life because of her access. You may think, but I've forgiven. I've moved on. Yes, your heart was pure. But I have not forgotten what was done in secret. And now the time has come for the truth to speak louder than her lies. You are not being called to revenge. You are being called to revelation. And once it's revealed, you'll never walk the same way again. This call is not just to expose her, it's to free you. Because you can't walk into your next while still carrying what she planted in your soul. You believed in people who never wanted to see you rise. You stood beside people who hated your light but needed your presence to hide their darkness. They used you. And God let it happen, only for a time. But now the time has expired. This message comes with weight because it's not a story, it's a confirmation. You've been sensing that something has been off. Doors that should have opened have stayed shut. Opportunities vanished. Peace felt distant. But now God is about to open a door so wide that even your enemies will not be able to deny it. And before He does, He is making one last call to your spirit. A goodbye to everything that ever worked against you. A goodbye to the spiritual parasites that came dressed as friends. A goodbye to guilt that wasn't yours. A goodbye to people who only called when they needed something. And yes, a goodbye to her. Because while you were sleeping, she was working. While you were trusting, she was plotting. And while you were blessing her name, she was sowing seeds of sabotage into places you couldn't see. You are not crazy. You didn't imagine the betrayal. You didn't misread the vibes. Your spirit knew before your mind did. And now, heaven confirms it. You've lost enough. You've wept long enough. You've watched others rise while wondering why you were still stuck. But you weren't being punished. You were being protected. Heaven couldn't allow you to elevate with poison in your camp. And now that the poison is being removed, the rise can begin. But it starts with answering this spiritual call. Your angels have been trying to get through. Archangel Michael has drawn his sword. He has come not to negotiate, but to defend. He is not whispering. He is roaring. Because the war over your name has reached its peak. And now, heaven is making a public decree, this one is chosen. This one is covered. This one will not be cursed again. There is someone reading this who is still unsure. Still doubting. Still hoping that maybe it was all a misunderstanding. But, listen to me carefully. I'm not exposing this woman to hurt you. I'm exposing her to protect what I planted in you. She could never love what I put inside you, because it threatened the identity she built for herself. But you kept trying. You kept hoping. And I watched you suffer under the weight of misplaced loyalty. But now I'm calling you out of it. Because your promise is greater than your pain. You're about to receive a sign. For some, it will be a literal phone call. For others, it will be a moment of undeniable confirmation, a sudden realization, a dream, a message, a door that opens or a door that slams shut. You will not have to guess. You will not have to overthink. It will be clear. And once it comes, you must act. You must obey. You must move. Because the window is narrow. And if you delay, you risk dragging old cycles into your next season. This is not just about a relationship or a betrayal. This is about your legacy, your future, your calling. There is too much at stake to hold on to what heaven is severing. Archangel Michael stands beside you now. The sword has already fallen in the spirit. The ties are being cut. But you must let go. The final goodbye is not a loss. It's an alignment. And once you say yes, the floodgates will open. This woman, she's not just someone in your circle. She's a representation of everything that tried to mute your divine voice. She symbolizes the falsehoods that attached themselves to your journey. And I am tearing her away because I'm reclaiming what is mine. You are His. You were never theirs. They tried to brand you, to label you, to use you. But God is branding you anew. He is placing His seal upon you. No more imitation. No more confusion. No more delay. Now is the time for revelation. Now is the time to walk in what was always yours. You don't need their permission. You don't need her approval. Heaven has already authorized it. And the woman who tried to hold you back will watch as God lifts you up. This is not revenge. This is restoration. Divine compensation. A holy unveiling. And it begins with this final call. If you'd like to donate or show your appreciation, you can give a super thanks up to $100. Don't ignore the signs. Don't silence the alarm in your spirit. This isn't just an emotional moment, it's a divine awakening. Your soul has waited lifetimes for this moment. Your ancestors prayed for it. Your angels fought for it. And now it's here. A final goodbye. A holy separation. A necessary ending to make way for the divine beginning. You picked up something in the atmosphere that you couldn't explain with logic. A disturbance in your peace. An invisible interruption in your spirit. You tried to shake it off, tried to pray through it, tried to rationalize it. But it wouldn't leave. Because it wasn't from you. It was from heaven. God was trying to speak to you without words, trying to ring that divine telephone line in your soul long before this message even reached your eyes. And now that you've answered, the truth won't stop flowing. Because heaven has waited long enough. The delay is over. And so is the deception. That woman, yes, the one you still occasionally feel sorry for, the one who you once defended while she was secretly undermining you, God says her mask is falling. Her influence is crumbling. Her charm can no longer manipulate the people around you. The calls she made to damage your reputation are being reversed. The curses she whispered in private are being dismantled by angelic forces. Because this is not about personal conflict. This is about divine correction. God says, I am correcting the narrative. I am restoring your name. And I'm doing it without your effort. You won't have to defend yourself. You won't have to beg to be seen. I am making it so clear that even those who doubted you will be shaken. There is something sacred about silence, and you have been silent long enough. They thought your silence was weakness. They mistook your grace for ignorance. But what they didn't realize was that your silence was obedience. You didn't expose them, not because you couldn't, but because heaven didn't allow it yet. But now, the time has come. Finally, God is exposing this woman. The secrets she swore would never come out are already echoing through the courts of heaven. And now they're cascading into the realm of men. You've walked through a season where you felt forsaken, overlooked, even abandoned. And yet, you kept showing up with kindness. You kept loving when it made no sense. And now the God of recompense is stepping in. Not just to expose, but to reward. You are being compensated for every unjust tear, every betrayal you stayed quiet about, every lie you took the fall for. The tables are turning. And when they do, the phone call you once dreaded will become the one they dread making. You're not just stepping into a new season, you're stepping into divine justice. Your tears have filled a cup in heaven. And now that cup is overflowing. Archangel Michael has not just been sent to protect, you've been placed under divine surveillance. Every weapon that was fashioned in secrecy is now being dismantled publicly. Every strategy sent to confuse your purpose is now unraveling. And those who laughed behind your back will watch the hand of God write your name on a scroll of favor. And that woman, she has known for a while that her time was almost up. That's why she's been quiet lately. That's why her energy has shifted. She felt the judgment coming before you ever saw it. Because deep down, even the most deceptive souls tremble at the justice of God. She sowed rebellion and cloaked it as righteousness. She packaged jealousy as concern. But God never forgets seeds. And now He's sending rain. But not the kind that nourishes, it's the kind that washes everything clean. Everything hidden. Everything twisted. Everything stolen. You may not feel ready for what's coming next. But heaven says, you were born ready. This is not an upgrade, it's an unveiling. The version of you that's about to be revealed is the one you were always meant to be, before manipulation slowed you down. You're not stepping into ego. You're stepping into alignment. And every door that was locked by the words of the woman God is exposing, those doors are swinging open so fast it will shock even you. The phone is ringing again. Spiritually, this is your next call. Answer boldly. Because your name is being cleared. Your future is being rewritten. And the exit of her presence marks the entrance of His promise. God isn't just exposing people. He's exposing patterns, cycles, inner vows you made to protect yourself that are now keeping you stuck. I'll never trust again. I'll never love again. I'll keep my heart closed. God says, those walls were survival then. But they're prison cells now. Tear them down. Because what's coming next is going to require a softer heart, not a hardened one. You won't need protection when you walk with divine direction. You won't need to watch your back when angels are going before you. You don't need to retaliate. You need to rise. You don't need revenge. You need restoration. And it's coming. It's closer than you think. That telephone call, whether it's a physical one or a spiritual one, it's not just news. It's an instruction. Someone will say something casual, but your spirit will know it's confirmation. It may not even come from someone you expect. But when it does, you will know, this is it. This is the moment. This is the goodbye. Not a sad one. A sacred one. A goodbye to false friendships. A goodbye to confusion. A goodbye to spiritual parasites and emotional leeches. A goodbye to a woman whose chapter in your story has ended, even if she was never supposed to be there in the first place. God allowed her for a purpose. To shape your discernment. To train your silence. To test your obedience. But now, the test is over. The exposure is here. And the reward is about to break loose. This kind of transition comes with strange signs. People may randomly start confessing things to you. Hidden messages may resurface. You might start remembering details that once felt insignificant. That's not random. That's divine recall. Heaven is giving you the full picture so that you never return to what almost destroyed you. You are being called to wholeness. And wholeness can't live in the same house as secrets. That's why the exposure is necessary. Not to embarrass anyone, but to cleanse the path in front of you. You were never meant to fight alone. Archangel Michael has been watching the entire time. And now, the warfare around you has become angelic warfare. Swords are clashing. Thrones are shifting. Alignments are forming. And your obedience to this call, this final goodbye, is triggering a new realm of authority for you. You're stepping into territories your ancestors only dreamed of. You're claiming ground that was stolen from generations before you. And it all begins with a spiritual phone call that says, "It's time." This message is for you. It comes from a place deeper than oceans and softer than dawn, wrapped in something more eternal than time and more sacred than the breath you're drawing in this very moment. There are stories buried under your skin that no one has ever heard because the ache was too holy to explain, and the silence too sacred to disturb. And now, that silence trembles. It stirs like something waking from the other side, something that carries the weight of eternity and the warmth of a tear-streaked smile. There is a telephone ringing in your spirit, and it's not from this world. The sound of it isn't loud, it's tender, distant, wrapped in memory, but it won't stop. You've been hearing it at night, haven't you? You've been feeling that flutter in your chest that makes no sense, that sense that someone is trying to reach you through the veil. Someone who once stood on this earth beside you. Someone who once breathed the same air, cried over the same heartbreak, loved you in a way that human words have always failed to describe. This is not an ordinary message. This is not just a whisper in the wind. This is a last goodbye, wrapped in eternity. And you need to know it. You must open your heart because this message has waited in heaven's silence long enough. They called you, but your earthly ears didn't hear it. They reached out, but your days were loud with life and your nights heavy with unanswered questions. They didn't blame you. In fact, they smiled through their tears because they knew you were doing your best. But the truth? They needed you to stop. To pause. To be still. Because the final goodbye wasn't said. And that goodbye holds something that will finally unshackle your soul. There is a message still echoing from the day they passed. You didn't hear it. Not fully. Because the grief was too thunderous. But it's there. Hidden in your dreams. Buried inside the pauses between your breaths. They left something behind. Not a note. Not a will, not a possession. Something else. A whisper. A final blessing. A final apology. A final I love you that the world never recorded but heaven did. And now it must be delivered to you. This isn't just for closure. It's for freedom. Your freedom. Because the grief has bound you in invisible chains. You carry it with quiet dignity, but it is there. The weight of what was never said. The words you wished they'd told you. The hug you thought would come later. The "I forgive you" you never heard. The "I'm proud of you" that never made it past their lips. The call has come to deliver those very things. There is a room in the heavenly realm where time folds like cloth, and in that room they knelt, trembling, and asked for one more chance to speak. They looked down on you, and with every fiber of their being, they prayed for the impossible, one last telephone call to Earth. One last moment. Just long enough to say what couldn't be said in the final breath. And somehow, the divine said yes. Just once. Just long enough. Just for you. So this message has traveled across light years, through stardust and sorrow, through your sleepless nights and whispered prayers. And now it sits before you, waiting to be read not with your eyes, but with your soul. Listen carefully. Don't rush.